Stuart Carlton and the late news from ITV.
Multi-billion-pound merger brings together top rock and pop stars. Tyson visit, organiser admits it's become a freak show. And Leeds bid to widen their Premiership lead at Sunderland.
From ITN, the ITV Weekend News with Nicholas Owen.
Good evening. Britain's EMI record company is about to sign a huge merger deal with the American giant Time Warner to create the biggest music conglomerate in the world. It'll be worth an estimated £12 billion and have a repertoire of artists ranging from the Spice Girls to the Beatles. Lucy Manning has more.
The Spice Girls, one of EMI's biggest acts. Now they'll find themselves on the world's biggest record label with this £12 billion merger between Britain's EMI and America's Warner Music. The Spice Girls are just one of the money-spinning acts who could be affected by the deal. EMI also represent the Beatles, the Rolling Stones and Robbie Williams. Warner Music has Madonna, Eric Clapton and also Cher on its list. It's Time Warner's second merger announcement in as many weeks after its agreement with internet giant AOL. And it's this internet link that will help the new record company.
This is yet again a sign that traditional companies are desperate to get involved with the internet, and this is as much the case in the music business as it is in any other industry. They are getting ready to distribute and promote their products over the net.
This deal shows just how much the music business has changed since EMI signed the Beatles in the 1960s. Details of the new company, to be known as Warner EMI Music, will be announced tomorrow. Its creation should accelerate the move away from CDs to music downloaded from the internet. Lucy Manning, ITN.
The man behind the Mike Tyson fight, Frank Warren, didn't pull any punches today with an attack on how Tyson's controversial visit to Britain has been reported. The fight promoter accused some elements of the media of peddling lies and racism. Tonight, one of the newspapers attacked hit back. Here's Ben McCarthy.
Mike Tyson was in a relaxed mood today despite the extreme reactions his visit to Britain has provoked. He was greeted by fans when he went on a shopping trip this afternoon and seemed a little bemused by all the attention he's received.
Just here for a job, you know.
At about the same time, the boxing promoter Frank Warren had a little more to say about Mike Tyson's visit to Britain. He called a news conference to attack newspapers for printing what he called inaccurate stories about the boxer and his entourage.
The Evening Standard has run a campaign here in London for the last week, which I think is borders on racism at times. You know, to say that Mike Tyson shouldn't be in this, and his people shouldn't be in this hotel.
Tonight, the editor of the London Evening Standard, Max Hastings, hit back, saying Tyson was a man with a ghastly record of violence and the fact that he's black has nothing to do with the case. In a statement, he went on, "It's Warren who's attempting to drum up publicity for this fight by playing the race card, and it would be sad if anybody fell for it." Bernie Grant is one of several black MPs who believe Tyson, a convicted rapist, shouldn't be boxing in Britain.
The black community needs to come forward and say quite clearly that we have nothing, no truck with Tyson and his like, and that we don't want them in this country, setting a bad example for our young people.
After today's news conference, Tyson's camp, based here at this London hotel, will want to concentrate on training rather than talking. And with just a week to go before the big fight, the promoters hope the focus will be on the boxing ring rather than the circus that's been surrounding it. Ben McCarthy, ITN, Central London.
Russian forces are said to have found the body of one of their generals who went missing in the Chechen capital Grozny. Earlier today, Russian troops hoisted their flag in a district of Grozny they say they've taken control of. More than 1 million people converged on Madrid in a mass protest against the terrorist group ETA. It was the culmination of public revulsion against ETA's renewed and deadly campaign of violence. And Hugh Grant is joining a wave of British talent in Hollywood for tonight's annual Golden Globe Awards. He's nominated as Best Actor for Notting Hill. Michael Caine is up for Best Supporting Actor for his role in Cider House Rules, which opens here soon. Sinn Féin's leader Gerry Adams joined thousands of Republicans today to pay tribute to an IRA terrorist hanged for murdering a police officer almost 60 years ago. It came as a new row blew up over plans to give Sinn Féin MPs at Westminster access to office facilities. Lauren Taylor reports.
Gerry Adams and Martyn McGuinness attended a rally in Belfast today in memory of an IRA man hanged for the shooting of a police officer in 1942. Mr Adams paid tribute to IRA volunteers, saying it had been a British tactic to demonise them.
So the IRA are terrorists. They're the bodies. The rest of them in the British Armed Forces become the goodies. We know that isn't the case. We know that there are brave people on all sides of any conflict, including this one.
But it's the future behaviour of the IRA that's under the spotlight now, as both Republicans and Unionists have been hardening their positions on weapons decommissioning. Today, the Ulster Unionists claimed the government had shelved its proposal to allow Sinn Féin MPs to use the House of Commons facilities until the IRA hands over its weapons.
On this particular issue of admitting Sinn Féin to the facilities of the House, they will put the condition that that cannot happen until after disarmament.
But the government said the Northern Ireland Secretary was still consulting over its proposal and the final decision rests with Parliament. Sinn Féin said it had not been told of a change. All this jockeying for position is going on as the peace process reaches yet another critical phase. The independent body that's dealing with decommissioning has just 8 days to publish its verdict on the progress towards disarmament. Lauren Taylor, ITN, Westminster.
Football now, and the Premiership leaders Leeds have widened the gap at the top of the table with a 2-1 win against Sunderland at the Stadium of Light. Here's Ben Scotchbrook.
Out on police bail, Jonathan Woodgate and Lee Bowyer donned their Leeds shirts to take on Sunderland today. But Kevin Keegan in the stands won't even consider them for England until questions over their alleged involvement in a racist assault have been answered. The Leeds goalie Nigel Martyn will have impressed the national coach with this effort against Kevin Phillips' strike. Jason Wilcox too showed what he was capable of, exploiting Sunderland's wobbly defence. His first goal for Leeds since joining them last October. And clearly putting their recent distractions aside, Leeds carried their lead into the second half, where Wilcox set up former Sunderland striker Michael Bridges, who made it 2-0. But less than 2 minutes later, Sunderland's Phillips beat a complacent Jonathan Woodgate to make it 2-1. And that was the way it stayed. When a whistle blew on full time, David O'Leary was a happy man. Leeds the winners and now 4 points clear at the top of the Premiership. Ben Scotchbrook, ITN Sport.
Cricket, England are celebrating tonight after a 9-wicket victory over South Africa in the one-day international in Bloemfontein. It was England's second win against South Africa in a week. Ian Abrahams watched the match.
Nasser Hussain pointing the way to a convincing England win. South Africa chose to bat first, but Gary Kirsten, Dale Benkenstein and captain Hansie Cronje fell to man of the match Darren Gough as the home side slumped to 23 for 4. Jack Callis' innings of 57 was also ended by Gough, as South Africa managed just 184. Nasser Hussain immediately took the attack for South Africa, the England captain in belligerent mood on his way to 50. His partner Nick Knight was also in top form. He brought up his half-century with another boundary. The pair's partnership passed 150 when Knight hit Boyer for 6. But Hussain was out within sight of an England win for 85. And it was left to Graham Hick to steer England to an emphatic victory. Nasser Hussain and Hansie Cronje will now head to Cape Town for the second match of the series on Wednesday. Ian Abrahams, ITN Sport.
In the Scottish Premier Division, Celtic's title hopes took a battering after Kilmarnock held them to a 1-1 draw. A Mark Viduka deflection gave Celtic a first-half lead. But Mark Riley scored to draw bottom of the league Kilmarnock level just minutes before half-time. And that's it from the ITV Weekend News. I'm back next Sunday. Goodbye. Have a good week.
Good evening. Well, today was cold, but at least it was bright and cheerful for most of us. Tomorrow's going to be cold as well, but with clouds gathering, it's going to be grey and cold, so nowhere near as pleasant. As far as the night's concerned, a widespread frost to start the night. We've got clear skies in many places now, so temperatures well below freezing, some fog patches around as well, and certainly icy patches to watch out for on the roads. In the north, you'll see temperatures begin to creep up as cloud comes in across Scotland and Northern Ireland. It'll produce some rain, sleet, a bit of snow on the hills, but the precipitation generally light and patchy. And further south, you'll stay dry, frosty and foggy right through to tomorrow morning. In fact, those fog patches will take quite a while to clear through tomorrow morning. Eventually they will thin out as the thicker cloud with increasingly patchy sleet and drizzle creeps further southwards through the day. It means there'll be time for the north to brighten up, Scotland, eventually Northern Ireland too, a little brighter. The rest of Britain really rather a grey day and certainly a cold one. After that frosty night, temperatures will struggle tomorrow, up to around 3 or 4 at best for some. Further north, once it begins to brighten up, you may manage a 6. That's around 43. Good night.
Power Gen. Power, whatever the weather.
Central Weather, sponsored by Stay Bright Windows and Conservatories. The clear choice in any weather.
Hello again. Well, we've a cold week to come through our patch, starting off with the rest of tonight. You'll already feel temperatures getting down below freezing, so a widespread frost with the risk of the odd sleet or snow shower down the far eastern side of the region. There may be some icy patches, so a pretty hazardous Monday morning rush hour. Getting cloudier in the north as well, with an occasional snow flurry there, and despite a fleeting glimpse of sun for the afternoon in the south, it'll be dry and cold, some patchy rain, sleet or snow over higher ground. That's it. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
The Central 7-day weather line, 09064 710 711.